listeners. Welcome to Plano's Political Pitbull podcast. I am Esther.
And I'm Ruth.
And today we are going to talk about some things that are going on in Plano. So, item number 1, Council approves Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone number 5 for the former EDS headquarters in the Legacy Business Area. The funding will be $15 million to go into the TERS, the fund, to reimburse for the construction of the main building, or the reconstruction of the main building, and a new pharmaceutical manufacturing facility. All funds will be distributed over 25 years. The agreement is 30 plus pages long, so I have not had time to read it all, but after I do, I will come back and we'll do a more specific episode on the agreement. Now,
We'll do an update.
Yes, we'll do an update. So here's the interesting part. This property was just rezoned, all right? And now we have to spend our tax dollars, or technically, we won't be getting any tax dollars from this project. So let's go back a little bit. So these folks came to us and said that they wanted to redo this whole property. There's a very large piece of property with a very large building on it. All right? Building was sold, and the new owners, they want to put a hospital, this manufacturing plant, a science center, and of course, we have to have apartments, right? And they claimed that the apartments were for the employees to the research facility, except the apartments were going in last. So, not quite sure how that was going to work out. And there's apartments right next door on the other side of the street.
Well, so there's already apartments in that area.
The apartments are called the Shops at Legacy, that whole area there. So it was approved. Shocking. And this was touted as, oh, this is going to be great for Plano. It's going to bring in so much revenue and jobs and businesses. And now we halt because fast forward, and now they want this tax improvement reinvestment or incentive. Tax increment reinvestment zone. They call it a TERS. And basically, we've gone over these types of zones before. All the money generated from this zone will stay in this zone. It will, instead of going to the general treasury of the city, it will go into a fund specifically for this zone and be kept in this zone. And some of this money will be going back to the developer to reimburse them for the pharmaceutical plant and the main building redo. And interestingly enough, they were just saying how Plano has this deficit, so we need to raise the taxes of people. And one of the reasons they touted was these zones we have, where we're not getting any of the revenue.
Then why are they deciding to make another zone like this when the whole point of the development plan was supposedly, unless of course they just lied, to bring in revenue for the city?
Well, I don't know if the city or the council members realized that this was going to be an improvement zone or an investment zone. Or let's just call it what it is, a corporate welfare zone. Okay, I like that word better. It really says what it is. Because
How do they not realize it?
well, when they came forward to rezone the place, the thinking of the council members is, well, we have this empty building there and nobody's moving into it. And these folks want to redo this whole area, and that's going to bring in more tax money. I don't know if they ever asked the question, hey, are you footing the entire bill for this? Is this going to go into our general fund, or are you planning something different? And I'm not even sure if they can legally ask that question. Because when you're there for a zoning change, you're really supposed to be focused on the land use. So I don't know if they even thought of this, but me, I would have been like, wait a minute, you guys were just here selling me on this idea that this will be great for the city. It will bring in more tax dollars. It will bring in more revenue. But now you're going to keep all that to yourself, basically. And you want us to reimburse you for the building, for your construction costs for phase one.
Say no.
That's what I would have done.
Because clearly you were tricked, bamboozled, or whatever, and that's not right. And why should you then foot the bill
Yeah,
when you're not going to get anything out of it?
yeah, that's what I would have done.
And your residents are not going to get anything out of it, really.
Yeah.
Besides for some new shiny buildings.
Mm-hmm. Yep. New shiny buildings, taller buildings. We're going to be getting a bunch of apartments, and
Because Plano needs more of those, obviously.
Yeah. So
There's such a deficit of apartments in Plano.
Yes. We only have about 30,000 either existing or being approved or who are approved to be built. Why not? We could always use more. Kidding, folks. So I will research this more because this is ridiculous. And on to the even more ridiculous. So the JCPenney headquarters property is our next case. This will just not go away. This just keeps, these people keep coming back and coming back. They just can't take the hint. So JCPenney's property has come back to the zoning board once again in zoning case 2024-003. So the third case of 2024. And they have tried to rezone this property in 2012, 2018, and 2020 without success.
You can't say that they don't, what's the phrase I'm looking for?
They're not persistent.
Yeah.
Tenacious.
You can't say they're not persistent.
So actually, this is a new owner. Somebody has bought this property now from the previous owner who did the 3 zoning cases and failed. And let's go over this property. So this is JCPenney's headquarters. Okay, it is a huge building. It had the main building, well, actually the only building that's there, minus a parking garage, has 1.8 million square feet of leasable space. It is a monster of a building, okay? And about half of that, 560,000 square feet, is currently occupied. And apparently the owner has revamped this whole building, put a lot of stuff into it to make it more, I guess, likable or desirable for those who want to lease it. And JCPenney's actually has stayed in there. They were going to vacate the building, or I think maybe they did. I'm not 100% sure on that. But the actual JCPenney's people have stayed in that building now, and they're leasing again. So this time they are asking to rezone to a planned development central business for, and get a load of this list, 750 apartments. Of course, why not? God forbid we should have houses, townhomes, condos, something you could buy.
Anything else.
An office, another office building, okay? Or office buildings, plural. Hotel, retail, restaurants, okay? Let's see, what else on this very long list? Okay. Four new office towers. Now, I don't know about you, but I heard that office is not doing so well. It's actually being hard to lease the office space. They're not even leasing the space they have now, which is about 500,000 more square feet. But they say we're going to do 4 new office towers at 3 stories, 20 stories, okay, and 2 21-story buildings for office. This is all office. There's going to be 2 mid-rise residential, and apparently mid-rise is 20 and 22 stories. Okay?
Why?
I don't know. There's going to be...
Why do office buildings have to be so tall?
Not all office buildings are tall. And this is residential. These 22 and 20 stories, those are going to be the apartments. She's speechless now.
I'm trying to orient my thoughts, because right now all I can think about is those high-rise apartments in Dallas, in downtown Dallas, or just outside it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, since when were we trying to be them?
There are going to be 3-story townhome style buildings, and they're going to contain 5 units. So you're going to have townhomes that are going to be 3 style. They said style, so I'm not quite sure if they mean that this is just going to be apartments that are just look like townhomes, or they're actually going to be for sale. And they're only going to be 5 units. 6 1-story restaurants, a 10-story hotel building.
Oh my gosh.
And a 21-story building containing retail, office, and another hotel.
Where is this so I know how to avoid it?
Well, hold on now. It hasn't passed yet.
We know it's gonna pass.
So they're going to have 2 dog parks, 4 new recreational game courts. Not quite sure what games they're going to be. If Julie Homer has her way, it's going to be pickleball, though. You know that.
Tennis, pickleball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's only so many sports that have courts.
Yeah. A plaza.
Basketball.
A plaza with a half-acre pocket park. I'm not quite sure what they mean, like pocket park. Maybe that's a small park. Now, there is an existing lake on this property, so some of the restaurants are going to be by the lake.
That'll be pretty.
That'll be pretty. Yes. There's going to be a perimeter trail, okay? So on the whole perimeter, there'll be like a walking trail.
Okay.
The streets, however, will not be in a grid format, which makes it, well, the problem is that there's a building on it. So it's hard to make streets that are not in a grid, you know?
No, I've driven in it's in just regular North Dallas, and they have those rows that are not perpendicular to each other, and I hate it with a burning passion. They have like the roads that like curve around, or like they'll have like roads where the lights are, you have a light in front of you, but just kidding, it's actually for the road over here on this side. It's not for you. Your light is over here on the right.
I don't know if that's what they mean, because when I looked at the plans, it looks like there's only going to be, the roads are going to be more on the outer perimeter of the thing. There's not going to be... You can't put a grid because you've got the building, the JCPenney building, already there.
Are they going to be like a bunch of I also hate one-way roads.
I don't know. The staff,
they're so annoying.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just it's not going to flow in a grid pattern. That's all they said. Okay?
Which means it's going to be harder to navigate.
Well, I think the issue is, yes, it's going to be hard to navigate, but the traffic pattern is going to be harder. One of the reasons you have these grids is to make the traffic patterns easier and less, traffic-y.
Well, because you have kind of multiple routes. I mean, if I need to make a slight detour, if a part of the road is like blocked, I can just go, I could just make a right, then make a left, then make another
left. You have multiple options.
Make a right, and I'm back on the route. Or I could just like make a right and then make a left, and then I'm back on my route, because the roads intersect.
Yeah, if one road is closed, you could just go and hop off to the road that's
next door.
Next door, perpendicular or parallel. Yeah. Okay. What else? So staff says the plan feels disconnected and lacking a good street network and development form that connects residential in a meaningful way to the non-residential and the open spaces. So in other words, the residential is going to be so far away and difficult to get, or let's say not flow easily to the non-residential. Okay? A portion of the property is within a EHA-1 of the expressway corridor. Now, EHA is basically it's the environmental health, area. So this is because what they have done is they're putting the residential by two highways, the 121 and the Dallas North Tollway.
Okay.
So obviously you're going to have fumes, okay? And this creates environmental health problems, all right? Because you're breathing in all the fumes from the cars,
Mm-hmm.
all right? So this means that the developer is required to do a health study. But the developer did not do his homework because they didn't do an environmental health study. And then staff said, all right, well, let's just move the residential away from the highway and place it in another part of the development that's more on one of the side roads, maybe like headquarters. Developer did not want to do that. So
Then why didn't he do his homework?
Good question.
Maybe because he knew it would be denied, like it would be too much of a health risk, and so he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to be proven that I can't do this.
He did not. They really didn't give a good answer for why they didn't come prepared, because they missed out on a couple of things. Another thing that they were supposed to do that they did not do.
Maybe they're just lazy.
They were supposed to do a traffic impact analysis, and they didn't do that either. The zoning board was not happy with them when they came in front of them.
Okay? I imagine not.
Yeah, because they're like, you didn't do your homework.
We can't help you if you don't do your part.
Yeah. The plan also does not comply with the comprehensive plan, because the comm plan wanted this strictly for business. They did not want residential in this area. So, doesn't conform to the comm plan. They didn't do these two studies they were required to do. And the staff said there is a lack of commitment from the developer to typical standards, development standards, and lack of integration for residential use. And staff recommended denial. The staff was really kind of harsh in their report. I
I imagine they were probably pissed off.
Yeah. It sounded, the woman, I've never heard such a harsh report from the staff. It was like, they really didn't like this. So.
Because it's like you're wasting their time. You're not doing what we ask you to do. And so why are you even here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you're not special. You've got to follow the rules. So yeah, the zoning board wasn't thrilled, and neither was staff. So, interestingly, one thing I hate is when you're overly nice to somebody who doesn't deserve it. I understand about being respectful and being kind, but
cordial.
But these folks were not respectful with your time. They weren't nice in my estimation, because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So I would have been like, you aren't prepared. You're wasting our time here. And I would have just been like, forget it. But and David Downs, who's the chair of the committee, he was like, well, I'm struggling with the fact that we don't have a traffic impact study or the environmental health study.
He's just dancing around the issues. Yeah,
he was like, really? Like, come on. You're being too nice again. So Commissioner Carey, he asked about the commitment to the green space. And really, there's no commitment to the green space and the future phasing. So this I found very interesting. So the applicant said that, and I understood this. That this site is hard because we have an existing building and we want to keep the building. So that's why we can't have the grid panel. Okay, I understand that. But then the architect, the developer's architect, he said this: right now, I will tell you, there is only one building type in the United States that can go forward in this economy we're in. That is high-rise multifamily at the highest quality.
What?
Close quote. In other words, what he's saying is, we can only build, in order to be successful and make money, we can only build high-rise apartments.
Where did he get that idea from?
I have no idea, but I'm going to call BS on that.
Is he from New York City?
No, I don't know.
Because,
I'm going to take a guess that the architect is local.
Because we have room. We don't need to build, so we don't need to build up. Not yet, anyway.
Well, I would say Texas doesn't need to build up. We've got lots of room in Texas.
Well, yeah.
Plano is running out of our room. But, yeah, I was just like, okay, that makes zero sense. Because, one, first of all, the Fed lowered the interest rates. The Federal Reserve lowered interest rates, so now you're talking less money to get a mortgage. That's number one. Number two, this economy is not going to be here forever. And number three, this building isn't going to magically appear tomorrow.
And he's also, the thing that also makes me kind of go, like, what are you talking about? Is he's saying the only one building type in the entire U.S.
Yeah.
that can be successful.
Yep.
Is a high-rise.
Yes. I see. Yes, let's put a high-rise in the middle of rural Wyoming.
That makes sense. Not. I'm sure they want that in the middle of their fields.
Yes, you look out your window and you see cows, corn, and wheat growing. I'm not sure what Wyoming grows. Yeah, Iowa. Iowa grows corn. That is such... What is he on?
It's such a weird way to think. Why would you think that's the only type of building in the U.S.? Like, no, there is not just one type of building.
No, I don't know. I mean, maybe in this area, but I would even argue that that's not even true in this area, because these high rises are not for everybody, and they don't build them like they used to. All right, so the older high rises in Dallas, and I actually know somebody who lives in an older high rise apartment building. You cannot hear a peep out of any of the neighbors. Like, you go in the apartment there, and you don't hear anything. Today's apartments, you know when your neighbor gets up, neighbor above you gets up in the morning, when they go to sleep, when they're home, when they're leaving. You can hear everything, okay? Because they don't build them like they used to. They're really poorly built. I mean, it's just.
And not everyone wants that type of.
We can do.
And not everyone wants that type of lifestyle. I mean, I know I don't. I don't like those high rises. I'm not interested.
No.
I'm not a city person.
No, me either. I'm not interested at all in living in a very high building whatsoever. I kind of like being low to the ground.
I like having a backyard or a front yard or just something. Yeah. Just some kind of yard. Mm-hmm. Having my own space.
Yeah.
Being able to breathe.
Let's even say, okay, let's say we could go with high rise. Why does it have to be apartments? Why can't it be that are for rent? Why does it have to be rentals? Why can't it be condos? Why can't it be apartments you own?
That's another problem, yeah.
New York City has apartments that you can rent and apartments that you can own.
I think
Okay?
I don't even know if they know that that's a thing, because I'm thinking that what if they just think apartments are just for rent? They, like, there's no such thing as a
Okay.
person who owns
I'm
their own
sorry.
apartment.
Is this person not go anywhere? I mean, this is your industry. You don't know that there are apartments you can buy.
Well, I'm kind of talking about the council.
Oh,
Who keeps approving everything? Who keeps approving all these rentals?
I
mean, I didn't know that was a thing. I thought apartments were just rented.
Okay, you're only in your 20s, so I can understand that. Maybe you have never seen $1 Million Listing, okay? New York or LA, where you actually, they buy and sell apartments. So I can understand that. These folks are a lot older. They should know this, okay? And the developer should know this. Right? Maybe you want a simpler, you don't want to maybe you don't want to mow the grass anymore. And maybe you don't want to have to take care of the lawn and upkeep and all that. That I understand. But you can still have an apartment or a condo, which is sort of like, you can have a condo that is apartment style too, but you own.
Maybe it's more money for them. That's why they don't want to do the.
That's the only thing that that is the only, it's when it's a constant stream of revenue, but to me it's a constant stream of headaches because you own everything in there and therefore it is all your responsibility. And whereas, so, you got a bunch of tenants calling saying, hey, my toilet's leaking, and they want you up there in 15 minutes. Whereas if you own the apartment, you own the inside. So it is up to you. If your toilet breaks, you call the repairman. Or maybe the apartment can help you get a repairman, but then you would have to pay for it. I don't know, there's different models. But anyway, so here's the important thing to know about how these folks felt. So David Downs says there is room for residential in this space, okay? But again, his problem was you didn't come with your homework, okay? And same thing with Commissioner Ollie. He said, you didn't come with your homework. You didn't meet the requirements, all right? Commissioner Carey said, the comp plan prohibits multifamily here. Sorry. So he's already saying he wouldn't pass this because of the comp plan. And
well, then that negates everything else.
Right.
And that just is like hard no.
Commissioner Ratliff, he likes the concept, but the devil is in the details. And of course, you got to do the studies. Now, Commissioner Bronski, he was pretty much very firm. And he said, if I'm going to sign my name to a findings form, you're going to have to come here with a lot more than you've got. All right? The city has put a lot of effort into the comp plan, and it's very very meaningful to the residents. It's meaningful for the businesses that are here. Not coming with the studies, wanting us to look at pictures that the staff says don't match or line up with the text of your plan, you're coming up a mile short. And he was ready to vote and just throw this whole thing out. Vronsky. It was like, yeah, and this was, by the way, tabled 2 times before. So he was already annoyed that it was tabled twice, and he had asked the last time it was tabled, are you going to have enough time to, get this ready so that we can move forward with it? And the staff said yes, but the developer didn't do his homework, so he was kind of annoyed at the developer as well.
I would be annoyed too, because that's just a waste of your time.
Yes. Exactly. He said he was ready to vote, and he made a motion to deny or decline, which failed. It was only 3-5. It was Commissioner Tom, Carey, and Bronsky who voted to fail it. So then they motioned to table until October 21st. And
why are they still giving them a chance?
They're too nice.
I mean, you've already this would be the 3rd time you're tabling it.
Yeah.
That's too many chances. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that motion passed 6-2, with Carey and Vronsky being the 2 who were like, let's just get this out of the way. And so it is tabled until
so this is going to come
21st.
back.
Yes, it will come back on October 21st. And by the way, nobody spoke against it. And there has been very little feedback on the website, the city's website. So please go and give your input if you do not want this coming and passing. And please go and speak. They would like people to come and speak. It may help. So lastly, the other thing of note is the Willow Bend Mall owners have come back to planning and zoning because they want to rezone the property again. Now, they have just asked for basically to get rid of the rule, the 2-year waiting period rule. So if you rezone a property and it passes, you have to wait 2 years before you rezone it again. But apparently, you can ask the board to waive the rules. And if they waive the rules, you can come back sooner than that. This zoning case is 2024-020, and the plan has changed drastically. The plans are up on the Plano website, and there are some big changes. I think the only thing that's in the same spot is the hotel. The hotel did not move.
Well, also probably Dillard's and Neiman Marcus. I mean, they're not going to move those buildings, right?
No, they're there. They're permanently.
They're there.
They're already
so
there.
So that also didn't change.
I'm saying the stuff that was supposed to be built.
Oh, the new stuff. Okay.
Yes, the only thing that I can see from my memory anyway, because I did a very bad thing. I did not keep the original concept plan after it passed. So some of the changes are they're adding 50 townhouses. Instead, they're taking away an apartment building and adding 50 townhouses. So that's good. Mm-hmm. Right? And
but when I looked at the map, the area is so small. They're going to be cramming those.
It's only on an acre.
It's going to be
tight.
packed.
It's going to be tight. And where the apartments were, they've moved them to different spots. So they really, the whole thing has changed. And if you either liked or disliked the original plan, you need to go take a look at the new one. There is no date yet of when this will come before planning and zoning or city council. But you can leave your opinion on the website for the zoning cases, and please do so. And we shall see what will happen. I like the townhouses, even though they're very tight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
a
change of pace, shall we say.
I kind of wish they would have ixnayed one of the buildings and put in more townhomes. Because
you have like a lot, there's several apartment complexes, and then you just have that one area with the townhouses. They could have, I mean, you could still have like the 50 townhomes or even more, and have them a little more spread out, similar to the apartments, replacing the apartments, Mm-hmm. So you have less apartments and more townhomes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that would be nice. That'd be a nice change, something you can actually buy.
Or, they could do condos too.
Condos would be nice too. I will take anything that a person can buy at this point. I mean, because I don't think the multifamily is going to go away.
No.
But I'd rather see it to where somebody can own it.
Yeah.
Because
let's compromise. You can have your packed multifamily developments, but can't it be something we could buy?
Yeah. Unlike sort of leaning into the World Economic Forum and Agenda 2030, where it's, you will own nothing and be happy. That's on their website.
Which is not my version of being happy.
Yeah, that is not my
That's just my version of stress.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I could not live in these development areas. It's too claustrophobic for me personally, and I actually, want to own property. just kind of what my thing. Well, that's going to be it for us. Like, share, and subscribe if you have enjoyed this program, found it helpful, educational, interesting, if you just want to help us out. This is Esther.
And this is Ruth.
For Plano's Political Pitbull, signing off.